Good evening, Midwest Mini Outdoors. Tonight's guest is Shane from Great Plains Bows. Shane, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Shane Unruh. I'm 40 years old, 40 years young, I guess. And I own Great Plains Traditional Bow Company for a little over 10 years now.
All right. Let's talk. Let's go back and how did you obtain it? Because no one just starts off saying, "Hey, we're gonna start building bows." Let's give a brief backstory on you and you obtaining Great Plains.
Yeah, sure. So actually, I guess to go way back when I was first a kid, about 8 or 10 years old, my sister was in. She was given some volunteer service time. It was sort of a opportunity where she went to a unit. I guess it would be sort of like a foster home.
Yeah.
For kids that are moving through the system and came from broken homes or didn't have parents or their parents passed away. But it was in Gallup, New Mexico, the town of Gallup.
All right.
And it was in I was in the town there, and we went to visit her. She's my oldest sister. She's 10 years older than me, and so she'd have been 19 or 20, around that age. And when we got there, remember we took the Amtrak. It's a pile of fun.
Yeah.
And it goes right through Albuquerque there. I don't even remember how far Gallup is from Albuquerque, but it's in that neighborhood. Anyway, we went to visit her, and when we got there, she had bought me and my little brother these two Navajo Indian flat bows.
All right.
That were made by a local artist in Bowyer. You know, they just have those open air markets.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that made them, and I still want to go back there because I've got to go because I know they're still making them.
Yeah. But
they were the absolute coolest little bows. You know, they were self bows, but they were real flat and wide, which is actually how the Plains Indians used to make their bows.
Like a pyramid bow style bow or something like that.
You're going down the right track.
Oh.
Yeah, sort of like that shape. You know, it's tapered up toward the tip, and then it's real wide in the middle. You know, modern day we think of self bows. We tend to think of the English style of self bow.
Yeah.
But actually, the Indians, the American, you know, the Native American Indians, or at least the Plains Indians for sure. Most of it was sort of the flat bow style. For sure, the Comanches.
Yeah.
Which I'm most interested in that tribe because they were such an archery-minded people, and they were masters of the bow and horse archery.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so she had two of those. One for me, one for my little brother, and they just had one arrow with them. But they had real feathers. I don't think they were turkey feathers. I'm not sure what kind of feathers they were. They could have been turkey, I guess, but they were real short. And those little suckers, and they shot unbelievably well. I just remember where that home for children was. It was at the end of a dead end, clear at the end, and there was these big limestone rocks right at that dead end that you could climb right up on top, and people would go to the top and carve their names up there.
Yeah.
And so me and my little brother, we climbed up there, and you know, we're country boys. We didn't grow up in city or town, and we would shoot those bows from the top of those rocks down the street, which is incredibly dumb. But we did that for hours. Well, we were there for a couple days.
Yeah.
And and of course we blunted the tips really badly. But you know, once you blunt those tips pretty good, they're not going to blunt anymore.
Yeah.
And man, those little bows would shoot. But that's sort of where I fell in love with it. I just could not believe, even to this day, that's why I want to go back there, because I just couldn't believe how much distance those little bows could shoot that arrow.
Now, you being a bowyer, is it just the geometry of the bow, why it pushed the arrow so far, or was it just what it was made out of?
I suppose it would have been the wood, and it would have been how the bowyer would have tapered those limb tips. You know, the limb tip speed, it directly affects the flight of the arrows. The faster those tips go, the faster your arrow goes. And of course, the profile has everything to do with that, and the tapers. And this guy definitely had those tips tapered down.
Yeah.
Very, very well made little bows. I mean, we shot those for a couple years before. I don't know how long we had them. A couple years, and I think they eventually broke. But we shot them and shot them and shot them and shot them. They were very well made. If I ever go through there again, I will find those. But that's where it started for me. I just fell in love with it. Of course, then I went home, tried my hand at it, which was most of them complete failures. I would, I wouldn't say complete failures, but nothing like those little Navajo bows. I'd just go out to an elm tree, because where I grew up, we didn't have no trees hardly. So we had elm trees, Chinese elms, cedar trees. Of course, your elm is a lot stronger than your cedar, and I would get a stave, and then I would use baling twine, and it would shoot an arrow, but not that far. But then I graduated to PVC bows. I actually had a lot of fun building those. You can actually do incredible things with PVC bows.
I've never tried to build a bow out of PVC. I tried to build one out of mulberry.
Yeah, mulberry will work.
And I didn't let it cure all the way. So I shot like 60, 70 arrows on it, and it just like bent.
Yeah. Well, PVC bows, there's definitely an art to that too. You can make a fairly good bow, or you can make a total dud.
Yeah.
But I never, I made some good ones. I never could get them to where I was happy with the hand shock on them. But just to move along, I guess when I was 24, my father-in-law bought me a Great Plains bow.
Nice.
And I fell in love with it. The next year I shot a big, nice 10-point muley. I'm looking at him right now. And then I just kind of, I fell in love with the Great Plains series. I bought my wife one, and we shot Great Plains. And then my father-in-law had one, all in her family. Two of my brother-in-laws had them. So it was sort of a family deal. We all shot Great Plains.
Gotcha.
And then I found out where they were made, and they were only 2.5 hours from me, so I drove down there and met Bill Foreman, the owner.
Okay.
He said it was for sale. So that I went ahead and that's a long story, but after a lot of difficulty, actually a number of years of trying to buy it, because it's really hard to buy a bow company, because the banks consider that a blue sky proposal. There's no comparables.
Yeah.
I finally, Bill Foreman actually decided to finance me, and so that's how I bought Great Plains. I bought it in, it was in early spring of 2015.
And you've had it 10 years. You've had it 10 years now, haven't you?
Yep, a little over 10 years.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me go back up here and look at my list. You sent me. Okay. Since you bought the company, did you discontinue the models that he built before, or did you just carry on what he started?
Yes. For a long time, for 3 or 4 years at least, I just built what he built. You don't really want them when you're starting out and trying to get into it professionally. You really don't want. You want to establish your reputation on the fit and finish and the craftsmanship, and just all your customers, all the customers of that series or brand, they don't trust a new bowyer. So you got to establish your own reputation. And so that the first 3 or 4 years, that's what I did. I just, tried to do my best and produce his models the absolute best I could. Of course, I added my own touch to them. There was things that I changed immediately, actually quite a few things, where I just didn't like the way the grips were and stuff. But at the same time, being conscious of, you don't want to change too much, because if you go in there and you throw a wrench in the gears and you change everything, then your longtime customers are going to say, well, they're not the same, and I don't want to buy one.
Yep.
So I was mindful of that, but I did change quite a bit. But it was more subtle changes over a period of years to more adapt to what I felt like was a better bow. And then I designed the Swift Long Curve.
Okay.
And I kind of used, the reason I called it a Swift is because I used the limb profile of the Swift series that we already had, because it's an incredible limb profile for a recurve. So I designed that bow, and then I designed, let's see, I can't remember all the order. I designed my hill style, and worked with a guy in Australia to field test him for me on that, because he was a hardcore heel style advocate or enthusiast.
Gotcha.
And let's see, then I designed the youth longbow, the tiny type bow. I've got a couple horse bows I've designed.
Do you still make youth bows?
Yeah,
okay.
I do have three models. They're not on my website.
Okay.
And I feel bad about that, and yet I have to survive.
Yeah.
Anybody that calls me, I would be happy to build a youth bow, more than happy. But I can't. I just felt, it's tough enough making a living as a bowyer, and I can't really. And some people are going to say, "Oh, that's ridiculous," but I don't make any money on them, and I've just had to have every dime. For this business changing hands and putting my own name out there, it's been a really tough pull, and I've just had to have every dime to feed my family and keep the doors open.
Yeah.
But I have three models, and for anyone listening, I would be overjoyed to build you a youth bow, and they are awesome. My youth bows are absolutely killer. I've got a recurve and two longbows. One is the tiny type bow, which is really small. And I don't sell many of those, and I don't even recommend people buying them because they're so small. And I still have to charge, $350 for them.
Yeah.
They're only meant for like 3 to 5 year olds.
Yeah.
And I would actually recommend starting off with what I could call my youth longbow, which is a 52-inch longbow. It's an awesome bow, and honestly, a 3-year-old could shoot it.
Does that go?
I can make it any pound.
Okay.
And the thing about a longbow, for sure, my youth longbow, it grows with the kid.
Gotcha.
So it's 52 inches long. We set it at 24. It's designed to perform a maximum performance at 24. I've got ladies that shoot that bow up to 27 inches that are happy with it. I mean, it's going to stack at 27. But it'll grow with the kid. You could buy that bow for a kid, 5 years old, and he could shoot it like crazy, and he would still be able to shoot it at 12 years old. It would still work great for him.
Go ahead. I'll say my daughter, I got her ILF bow, and she got an ILF bow for Christmas, and that's what she shoots because she likes the riser, and she can change out limbs as she grows.
Yeah, but that's the thing, there's a lot of cheap bows that you can buy for a kid. Yeah, I mean, a custom bow company, we're going to make better bows, we're going to make faster, smoother bows. But if your kid isn't serious about it, if they just want to watch the arrow and they're not going to stick with it, I wouldn't spend the money from a custom bowyer. I just go on Amazon, get them a $150 kids bow and see where their interest lies. If they love it, then buy them a bow from a custom bow company.
I would say you're definitely right about custom bows because I have one. It's not one of your bows, and you know which one I have. I got it. I had a heck of a deal, and it outshoots any of my box store, like my big box store bows.
Yeah, that's that River Raisin.
Yep.
Yeah, I met that bowyer.
He's a pretty cool guy. What do you want, Evie?
Oh,
no, I already recorded though. What are you gonna say?
Speaking about shooting, my bow outshoots his custom.
That's just the operator, Evelyn. It's not the bow. It's the operator. The last two shoots. You're not gonna beat me this time.
Oh, really?
We'll have to see about this.
There's nothing wrong with some good competition between.
And now her and her sister both shoot, and next year they're gonna be in the same division. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the
shooter of the year because I'm already getting it. I got it last year and I'm getting it this year.
Yeah, she's ahead in points for shooter of the year, and she shoots against some kids with compounds in her class. So
That's cool.
Yeah,
we do we did an event there. We have a lake about an hour and a half from here called Horsetooth Reservoir.
Okay.
And they do a youth event every year, and they got all these booths, and it's super cool. And the kids can go. They got a 22 booth. They got an archery booth. I can't think of everything they got, but it's so awesome. And all the kids can go there and try all the booths. And we took the bows up there last fall, and we had an absolute pile of fun. I had kids lined up in that booth to shoot all day long. It was so much fun.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, but they're like, we got bows here. You don't need to bring your own bows. And so they had these I forget the name. I wonder if they were Genesis. But
yeah.
They were compound bows.
Yeah.
But Justin, they were terrible.
Oh yeah.
I mean, my youth longbows, no question, hands down, outshot them. They were slow, and for a compound bow, it really, really surprised me. So this year, I'm gonna bring my bows. I'm gonna bring my youth longbows and youth recurves. We're not gonna shoot those Genesis bows this year.
Let's talk about. We were talking about models of bows. Let's talk about your new model that you just released this year.
Right. So I've designed a whole bunch of new bows since I've taken it over, but the newest one is the Houdini, and it is named for the Tawny Owl. It's the slang name for the Tawny Owl is Houdini.
Okay.
And also, it is also named for the man Houdini because it's designed to fit into small places. But really, the reason I designed this bow is I kept getting calls from guys, and they would be like, I got a super short draw, like 25 inches.
Yeah.
Do you have a bow for me? And I said, no. And they said, well, the other bowyers, they say, well, we do it. Yeah, we got a bow for you. You can draw all our bows at 25, which mine will do that too. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
If the limb's not designed for a short draw, those guys that have a short draw, every one of those bows are dead in the hand. They're not at their full potential, and they're not shooting an arrow fast because the bow is designed on a 28-inch platform.
Yeah.
So 28-inch draw, So this Houdini is designed to accommodate every single length of draws. So I can build them. I mean, I can build these things as short as people want them, and they still will work great.
So it goes 31 for me, right?
31-inch draw.
Yeah, I have ape arms. So.
Yeah. So a 31-inch draw would be about a 60 or 62-inch.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. It's a short little bow. It's real compact. It's super fast. I'm not gonna put numbers up.
It doesn't stack, right? Or does it?
Well,
stack?
Of course it stacks. Yeah, it'll stack. Some guy. It's a hybrid longbow.
Yeah.
And it's really aggressive. But some guys will say, well, like shrew bows, they say that there's no stack whatsoever. But it's not. Yeah, every bow stacks at some length. Every bow stacks. You're not gonna get away from that. It's just like every single bow has hand shock. It might be very, very minimal, but the physics of a traditional bow will guarantee that it has some measure of hand shock.
Yeah.
So,
D-style longbows have more hand shock than I think recurves do. But,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So these little Houdinis, so for instance, a 54-inch, It does not start to stack till 28 inches, and by that I mean, like, I'll put it on a scale, I'll draw it, I'll measure the pounds per inch, and then I'll go until it increases markedly, where you can see the increase, and that's where I measure the stack. So, like the 28-inch or the 54-inch Houdini, it's about 2.5 pounds until 28, and then it jumps up to 3 pounds an inch. Well, that's stacking.
Yeah.
So you just have to get the right length for your draw. But 54 is incredibly short for a 28-inch draw.
I have a old Shakespeare Super Cheetah, and I think I know that's a short recurve, and I can draw that thing back. I have to send out to have it get refinished, but that's for later. That's a later topic. But I can. Some people say that bow stacks, but I don't ever see it really stacking because it's smooth. It doesn't you don't hit like a brick wall. It'll keep going.
Well, and you know a little secret, Justin, is it's kind of what you get used to.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, some guys will pick up a hill style and they'll be like, "Oh, this is a great bow with no hand shock," and the next guy will be like, "That's shaking my teeth out."
Yeah.
It's so subjective to the archer, and that's why, like FPS, like feet per second. I kind of had a learning curve with the Houdini because I put on my YouTube video feet per second. Well, later I was like, that was the stupidest thing I could have done, because feet per second is so subjective to your release. It's subjective to your arrow weight, how you draw,
what type of arrow.
And it's, you can go brag about your speed, and the next guy will try it, and he's like, no, it's not as fast. Like, I had one guy that bought I've only built like 15 Houdinis and sold, because I wanted to get feedback before I went full hardcore into them. That's the smartest thing to do. You don't want to throw 100 of them out there and there's some major flaw. And so this one guy got it, and he was like, he's all about speed, and he watched my video, and he's seen the feet per second. Well, when he shot it, it wasn't as fast as I said. He immediately sold it. And so I learned a tough lesson, and I always say you learn best when you learn hard.
Yeah.
Don't really. I don't know. I think I'm going to stay away from posting feet per second. I've got some of the fastest bows out there, for sure, in my Swift series.
Yeah.
But somebody's always going to build a faster bow. I've been reworking some of these super curves.
Yeah.
They're fast. I am not impressed with them, but they're fast. I hate how they draw, and I hate how volatile they are.
Now,
there's no denying they're fast.
Makes a super curve?
There's a lot of guys that make them. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of guys. There's not a lot of guys, but there's a number of guys that do. Probably one of the most popular is the UK company Border.
Okay, so it's not like a bare. What's that short weird bow they have?
No. Like the hook on these things, the recurve hook.
Yeah.
Is insane. Like, it curls back over. And it has, like, it kind of, when you first draw it, it's pretty stiff because it's uncurling.
Yeah.
And then about halfway into the draw, it levels out. And it feels almost like let off. They say it's let off. They say there's like a 2-pound let off. I haven't found that in my testing.
Yeah.
But it does give you the feeling of let off. I'm not going to deny that, because it levels out and it feels like it's just one solid pull all the way back. But the ones I've had in my shop and reworked and restored and repaired,
yeah,
Justin, it's got the weirdest draw. It's like the limbs uncurl, because of the tiller, the limbs uncurl at a different time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a porpoise draw.
So is it? I'm thinking, like, when you said that uncurl, I'm thinking like a Turkish recurve, like a horn, like how like the old Turkish horn bows where you would have to like unroll them to string them up.
Yeah, it's somewhat the same. Yeah, you're on the right track. It's not quite as aggressive as those bows.
Okay.
But you're on the right track, how the hook curls over like that. But it's weird when you draw them, because I didn't expect that when I started working with them. I was always planning on building one. I'll be honest, I don't think I'm going to build one after working with them.
Yeah.
they're not. They're not enough. They're not that much better enough. How do I word this? The pros of them don't outweigh the volatility.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of them fail. They have to have carbon on the back and the belly, and they're volatile.
Yeah.
But as far as performance, yeah, they do have some incredible performance. But as a bowyer, professional bowyer, I don't have the funds to warranty those things.
It's like, me building race motors. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah. They want them to rev high. That means you have looser tolerances.
Yeah. And the deal is, because they're more of a sports car in the bow world, you're going to have more issues with your customers that aren't going to be able to figure them out. And once I started working with them, I was like, I mean, I can build them. It's not that hard to build them. But I don't think I'll ever do it, because it's just, to me, it's not worth it.
It's like, I'm like not trying to name drop here. It's like everybody loves Black Widow. Mm-hmm. I shot their bows. They do great. They look beautiful, but there's just something about how the limbs bolt to the back of the riser bothers me. And
yeah, you know,
not for me. Yeah,
it's not for you, but for some people, that's exactly what they want. You know, it's everybody has a different taste, and I guess that's what makes traditional archery so great.
And it's like, I don't know, do you fly fish?
No, I don't. Okay. I don't live in an area that has trout or streams like that. So,
but it's like I fly fish a lot. I'm granted in Illinois, but I'll buy you got to have this rod or you got to have that rod. Well, I can buy a cheap rod off Amazon, get a 2-year warranty, break the damn thing. I can still catch as much fish. Does it matter how some rods cast smoother than others? But it all comes down to the person using it.
It's all personal. Widow, I love those guys. Roger and Toby.
And
but they have their following as they should.
Yeah.
It's a high quality bow. And they're great guys. It's good craftsmanship, good quality. But everybody's got their own taste, and some guys are gonna like Great Plains better. Some guys are gonna like Black Widow better.
I like Great Plains better, but I had not shot your bows yet.
Well, there again, it's all subjective. But yeah, with the Houdini there, I could put my name on that. I still, there's still things when you design a new bow. There's things that, for sure, when you're a small shop and you don't have like a whole bunch of engineers and teams and all these guys, you're gonna find stuff that you didn't think of down the road. I mean, I found stuff on bows that Bill Foreman designed that I've changed that were literally, they were flaws in the design.
Yeah.
But they were but they worked so well that I didn't, you didn't see them for years down the road. But yeah, so I'll continue to build new designs. Right now I got a contract to build a bow from the video game EverQuest.
Okay.
And that's going to be a fun build. It's going to be complicated, very complicated. I just ordered the supplies from Smooth On, and it was over $1,000. It was over $1,000 just from all the different casting resins and silicone molding.
And how many bows you got to make?
One.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the contract's for one.
Yeah.
I'll probably, I'll build some prototypes, but the contract is for one bow for the guy.
All right. Then let's talk about the Houdini again. If someone wants to order, because your bows are not average. It's great craftsmanship that goes into it, and if people don't realize that, watch his videos on YouTube. What's the price point of the Houdini?
The Houdini is super reasonable. You can, if you custom order it, that's going to be your most expensive price, simply because I've got to build them to the customer specs. Their wood choice, their draw, their length, and when I build a list of custom orders, they're all different, and so I can't really be efficient If you buy one of my in-stock Houdinis, they're $975. I wanted to keep them under $1,000. Every bit as good as the custom. The only difference is I get to choose the length, I get to choose the poundage, and I get to choose the wood, and I can build them efficiently in a batch. And they're built with just the same craftsmanship, same attention to detail. It's just I get to be way more efficient. So I offer them for that. So if you custom order one, they are $12.95.
Okay.
And I don't have a 2-piece. Now I'm going to put a bow bolt on them.
Okay.
2-piece full boat. I am actually building a highly precise sled boring jig.
Okay.
It's super cool. I'm gonna do a video on it once I get it. I mean, I've got like a day or two left on it, but I just have not found the time. I'm just slammed here all the time, and but it's so accurate. It's accurate within 0.02 of an inch over 20 inches. So that's the variable, 0.02 of an inch over 20 inches, which is the width of a human hair.
Yeah.
So it's super cool, but it's a slide. And I used a CNC motor that I bought. That thing was not cheap. Well, it wasn't bad. It was about $350, but it's got a variable speed controller on it, so I can set the RPMs, and that's how I'm going to bore the hole to get it really precise for optimal fit for my bow bolt system.
I have a question. This is way off topic. Are you getting messages on your phone, or am I getting messages on my phone?
Hold on a second. I've got a couple since we've been on here, but I haven't heard anything.
It just beeping. I didn't know what it was, so I'm gonna.
It might be mine. I get a lot of messages, dude.
And same here. I like if I go and like put my phone on do not disturb, then the app doesn't work for me to record on, and yeah.
I also got an EMS run while we were talking. Maybe that's what you heard.
That's fine.
Yeah.
What I was going to ask you. If you had to shoot one of your bows, just only one model, what would it be?
It
would be this way.
It would probably be if I could only choose one. If I had to shut the shop down, and they said you could take one bow with you. I don't take bows down, but just because I might, I would choose a 3-piece Swift recurve.
Gotcha.
I love recurves. I'm a recurve guy. I love longbows too, but I'm a little bit more fond of recurves just because of the speed of them. The center shot. I love a center shot bow.
And I started out shooting recurves, and I think a longbow is more forgiving.
I hear that all the time. I hear both sides of that. Some guys say a recurve is more forgiving, but there again, it's just subjective to what you get used to.
Then another reason why I started shooting a longbow is I shoot the Midwest Archery Championship, like 3D series here, and I shoot with I got in like the trad, like men's trad, which is longbows and wood arrows. And I shoot with a great group of guys. And we all pal around together now and give each other crap, and we all become good friends about all. Yeah,
that's great. Oh man, there's so many good people in the traditional archery world. I mean, there's always those that are not great. Man, there's few and far between. Most everybody is awesome, and I especially respect bowyers that will share with other guys. Their tips and tricks. It's not going to hurt them. And if you got your reputation established, it's not going to hurt you. It's only going to make you better. I mean, if you're open, guess what? You're going to learn more.
Yeah.
And it's only going to increase your skill.
What's your favorite thing to hunt? I know you don't get to hunt much, but what is it?
It would have to be probably deer.
Whitetail or mule deer?
I would say muleys, but muleys are so easy that I would have to say whitetail, just because they're so elusive. When you get a good one, you've really done something. I've stalked mule deer here my whole life, and I mean I've stalked up to 10 yards on them multiple times.
And I know.
Now,
Go ahead.
haven't got them all the time, but I've arrowed a number of them. But 70% of the time you don't close the deal, or 80%. But
No.
but they're so docile compared to a whitetail.
Now, do you want to tell my listeners the story that you told me about you and the Halloween mask stalking a mule deer?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. But I don't recommend this in gun season. You will die. You will die very fast. But it works. But yeah, so one year I was like trying to figure out, because I've been stalking these things. I tried everything. I learned a lot of stuff, and I learned that the best stalks are either during wind or right after a rain when the ground is wet, so you don't crunch.
Yep.
Wind is even better, but then it can't be too windy. If it's too windy, the deer are really unsettled because there's a lot of movement and they don't know where danger is going to come from, and so they're kind of looking a lot more than normal. But also with wind, they can't see you move as much.
Yeah.
So you can get really close on windy days. You can get really close on wet days. But I was like, we have a lot of wind, but most of the time it's too windy. If it's 30-mile-an-hour wind, if you take anything longer than a 10-yard shot or so, you better know, it's going to affect your arrow.
Yeah.
But what about the days when there's very little wind and it's dry? And so I was like, man, I don't know how I'm going to do this. So yeah, I did. I bought a mask. I bought a deer head mask, Halloween mask. And I actually found one. I still got it. It looks like a white or a mule deer doe. And I've been wanting to try it, so I put it in my truck. And one day, and we were driving, my wife and I, and we didn't have my two little kids yet. I have 4 kids, but we just had my 2 oldest, and we seen these herd of mule deer, and I remembered I had it in there, and I was like, hey, drop me off here. I want to see if this works. And I didn't have any weapon at all. I just wanted to see how close I could get. I just walked right up on him, man. I put that mask on, and I kept my shoulders below the sagebrush.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they couldn't see. And yeah, I just walked right up on them. I mean, they knew something was a little off. And so I wouldn't, when they were looking right at me, I would try to still manage my movements.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super easy. I mean, it took me like a quarter of the time that it normally does. Normally, I'm dropping gear off. I'm taking my shoes off. When I get pretty close, last thing I'll shed is my shoes. So I got just my socks. And I just had that mask on, had my shoes on, everything. And I don't know, I was probably 10 minutes. I was in 20 yards of them.
Not bad.
Yeah. But if you do that in rifle season, you're probably going to die.
Yeah. Oh.
Not a good idea, but it does work.
Oh, I'm following that list. I'm jumping around that list, but what shoots or expos do you go to on a regular basis?
Zero. On a regular basis.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. There are several shoots that I have been to more than others, but I couldn't say any of them would be regular basis.
And you've probably been to the Tennessee Classic. You've probably been to.
Nope, never been there.
Okay.
I had a really bad deal with the Tennessee Classic. I had signed up, got a booth, and the guy there that was the organizer, his name is Pappy Boyington.
Yep.
I don't know if he's still the organizer.
He is.
But I don't know. That was a bad deal. Most of it was my fault. But I signed up, and then I had a really close friend pass away.
Yeah.
And I spaced on him. Yeah. I posted it on my social that I wasn't going to be there, but I did not tell Pappy. And I guess with everything going on and him dying and the funeral and everything, I didn't think to call him and he had saved a spot for me, and that spot was empty, and he was pretty unhappy with me, and so
Gotcha.
I don't know if I burned my bridges there. I think he'd let me back if I called. I think he'd be cool with it, but I've never been to the Tennessee Classic. The shoots I've attended the most would be Compton's.
Okay.
And the CTAS High Country Shoot, which is my favorite.
Where's that one at?
That one's at Newcastle, Colorado. It's way up high in the mountains.
Right.
It's the third weekend in June. It was last weekend. I was there. But I did not take my booth. I just went at the last minute. I was there for one day, and I came home. And I sold six bows.
Not bad. Maybe that's what I need to do for my birthday next year. That's the third week of June is my birthday, so.
Oh, well, happy birthday, because it's been right just passed, huh?
Yeah, the 24th. So.
Oh, 2 days ago.
Yep. I'm 42. I'm old.
Yeah, my daughter's birthday is the 23rd.
That's my older brother's birthday. We're 10 years and 1 day apart.
I got you. That's cool. Yeah, so if to answer your question, the two that I've been at the most, would be Compton's and the High Country. Other than that, I've been at ETAR twice.
How is ETAR?
What's that?
I've heard good stuff about it. I've also heard bad stuff about it.
Shane.
Yo.
Huh?
That's okay. What's up, Evie?
Evie, what do you want to say to Shane?
Shane, time of death.
Yeah.
8:03. We lost him.
She's playing. Oh, I'm going to edit that out.
That's right.
I'll leave it in, I guess. I know. Oh, what was I saying now?
Yeah, you were asking me about ETAR. ETAR, if you're a track guy, you got to go at least one time.
Okay.
It's totally worth it. It's a bit overwhelming. There's a ton of people, but you got to go just to experience it.
Okay.
It's the largest one. I know it's the largest in the U.S. I don't know if it's the largest in the world, but it's got to be close.
Okay.
It's huge. And it's the vendors. It's unbelievable amount of vendors. But I've been twice. It's like 23 and a half hours driving from here.
Yeah.
But you need to go at least once if you've never been.
When you go to
the
Compton, how would you go to the Compton one in Michigan? Yeah,
Marion Springs. They just moved it.
Yep.
They're moving it to Indiana. It was the last year. I wanted to go this year, actually, really bad.
And I'd say Marion Springs is only 3 hours away from my house.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. You've never been to Compton's?
No, I'm a Compton member. I've never been to Compton's.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good shoot. That's a good sized one too. That one has a lot of vendors. So the high country shoot is only about 500 or 600 registered shooters.
Not bad.
No, there's never very many vendors there.
And there's not that. It doesn't seem like there's a. I mean, there's a lot of people, but not. I mean, the older I get, it seems like I want to be a hermit. I guess because I don't like being around a lot of people, which is weird. So.
Yeah, it gets that way. Depends on your experiences in life.
Yeah.
As you go along, but the high country shoot. It's Colorado Mountain Air. It's up high. They do a fantastic job on their courses. They have like 6 or 7 courses, and they're really imaginative with their courses, and they just do a really good job. I mean, I gotta say this, that the high country shoot has the best courses of any shoot I've been to, even ETAR.
Okay.
They got a lot of big animals, like a lot of elk, moose, and then they got what they call the three arrow challenge.
Okay.
Where you're only allowed to take 3 arrows, and if you miss the target, you cannot use that arrow again. So, it's really, really, really cool shoot. I don't know why there's not more vendors there.
That just gave me an idea for our trad shoot coming up here, the 3 arrow shoot.
Two shoots for those of you listening that I would go to in my lifetime.
I give my
Or
support
is the
to
Etar
my
and the High
dad.
Country. I know the Tennessee Classic's got a lot of vendors. They got cool stuff. The Tennessee Classic. They got the workshops. That's pretty awesome. Maybe we should say 3. But
Peanut.
I got to go to the Tennessee Classic next year. I've just got to.
I might see you down there because my buddy Jeremy DeFundy is going. My buddy Bob Mason, his brother's part of the club down there.
I might get to meet him.
You might get to meet Shane in person.
I might get to meet Shane.
Yeah. The show that the close shoot that I've been to that I did the best at was only 3.5 hours from here. The Sagebrush traditional archery shoot. I went there one year, about 3 years ago, and I sold 10 bows. But the first year I went to Etar, I sold 15.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all.
No, that's really good for sure. But how much fuel it takes to get down there?
I wish you lived closer. I would have you come to our traditional shoot. It used to be bigger than what it is now, but we have like vintage full size 3D targets. I told you this before, but they're made out of paper mache, and
Yeah.
they're life size, and it's amazing work. It's all handmade.
Oh, that is crazy. That's cool.
Yeah. And what do you belong to any organizations like PBS or Compton or any local clubs?
Oh, I used to, but I've let those memberships lapse, and I haven't renewed them. So at this time, no, I don't.
What else to ask you? Are you a carbon arrow guy, aluminum, or wood?
I'm a carbon arrow guy. I like carbon arrows. Wood will get crooked on. I do like the nostalgic properties of wood, and actually it shoots pretty good.
Yeah, it's quiet,
but
it's because it absorbs the energy.
It's super quiet. They're slower.
Yeah.
But no, I would have to say I'm just more of a carbon guy.
Now I got a hold of some old vintage microflights. You know what those are?
Yeah.
I got a hold of some of them, and boy, are those heavy.
Yeah.
But you know what? I ran a dial indicator across them, and they came out just about the same as what your CNC machine did. And if I would have bought carbon arrows with that straightness, I would be up a dozen. Would be like $600.
Really?
So yeah, they're pretty straight.
Most of the carbon arrows are like 3,000.
Yep.
Very.
They were like under 2.
That's crazy.
And I had to go back and double check it, and you got to figure these shafts are from the 60s.
There were some guys at the shoot this weekend that had the Easton Fred Eichler series.
Yeah.
Those are probably the most beautiful carbon arrows that I've seen. They have like a dark walnut wrap on them.
Yep.
And then a white crest.
Yep.
They are absolutely gorgeous. And I come home, I'm like, I'm getting some of those. Because I've been shooting the Easton Carbon Legacy, which they're awesome arrows. But I'm going to get those Fred Eichler series. They're gorgeous.
Have you ever shot Victory arrows before?
I haven't, nope.
They Victory Trad. I don't think they make them anymore, but if you can get your hands on some of them, dude, they're just like them, but they're smaller diameter, and if you cut them, they smell like cedar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
the Fred Eichler are smaller diameter. They're 5.9 millimeters.
Yep. And the only thing I don't like about them is they got them insert outserts.
Yeah.
And you gotta, if you don't have them set in right, you'll hit a target, and the insert will pull out, and you're out like $8, $9.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I think you left your water out here. Oh, what's your so what's in store for Great Plains in 2025 and 26?
I really want to
It's my podcast.
actually we were just propositioned by a company out of the UK to build lots of high quantity for the European market, and I actually signed the deal, and then I changed my mind because I didn't want to be a production shop like that, just manufacturing pieces.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go that route. I really want to exercise my artistic abilities more I want to actually. I've been getting into the film world with my bows,
Yep.
and I want to pursue that more.
I know.
And I want to build more beautiful stuff and unique projects.
You talked to me about that before, and I think you're still on that no disclosure stuff, right? About that.
I mean, I can talk about it. I just can't show pictures of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
When's that supposed to come out? That film, anyway.
That's going to be July 17, 2026.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah. If you want to talk about that, you can, or do you want to just say that for a later date when it gets closer to the release date of that movie?
Oh, it's fine. I'll mention it. It's just the, it's not that impressive, unless it don't, till we see for sure if it makes it on the big screen. No deal's a sure deal until it is, but I just built the bow for that new movie Odyssey with Matt Damon. It's a Christopher Nolan film, and it's a Scythian recurve, I guess you could say. It's more of a Scythian horse bow. To be totally honest with you, it actually is sort of a cross between a Mongolian and a Scythian, but they're calling it a Scythian.
Now, do you have a prototype of those? Did you keep any of your prototypes, or did you have to send all those back?
Oh no, I got them all. I designed it from scratch.
Yeah.
I built a number of forms, and I've got all the prototypes. And I'll probably, actually, when it comes out, I'll probably produce them for my series. But I'm not going to do it until I make sure that it's actually going to make it into the film, which I don't see why it wouldn't. Yeah, it turned out really good, but you just never know.
I mean, it should make it in the film.
Yeah, it should. I mean, they said I was the only one working on it, so. But you never know with those guys.
Yeah. Another note on that is that film takes off, you might have people wanting to have you make it do for Comic-Con or the cosplay world.
It's super expensive.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't use any real horns, so it had to be casted with synthetic flexible rubbers and silicones.
How come you can't use real horn on it at all? Because it just wouldn't bend?
No, because they were afraid they'd be denied access to the different film locations of countries.
Gotcha. I got you.
I had to cast it, model it after gazelle antelope horn. So, I mean, if people wanted them, I'd build them for them, but it'd be probably like $8,000 or $10,000, maybe not quite that much for a bow.
Hey, some of those cosplay people have that kind of money, though.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah. It's a super cool looking bow.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was going to ask you. What I got you on here? What are you hunting this year? Are you going to try? Because I know you don't get out to go hunt that much because you're always busy. You gonna hunt this year? And
I'm going to try. I really am. I'm going to try to this year. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I've got several options. I've got several guys that have offered, given me invitations to.
You're in Kansas,
right? Hunt at their place. Yeah, I'm in Kansas.
Now, do you guys have wild pigs near you or no? I know some parts of Kansas do, and some parts don't.
There's very few in Kansas. Okay. They're on the eastern side. There's some.
All right, down towards the Texas border, right?
No, it would be towards the. Having a brain fart. Missouri border. And Missouri and Arkansas, eastern Kansas.
Gotcha.
Would be where the most of the pigs would be, and there's not very many. Now, if I could drop down into Oklahoma, I don't even have to drive that very far, and there's pigs.
I think there's more pigs in Oklahoma than there is in Texas, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that either. I know there's a lot. Yeah, I think you're right though. I think in some parts of Oklahoma there's huge populations.
And they're not going to eradicate them all because they reproduce so fast.
Yeah. And that reminds me, I got invited to a hunt in Louisiana.
Nice.
I don't know if I'll go, but
is that
there's a lot of wild pigs there.
So is that for hogs and deer and probably turkeys?
Yeah, but it's for anyone. Oh. Anybody can do it. Frank Miller is the organizer of it. It's not that expensive.
Who's Frank Miller? I know that name. I just can't put two and two together right now.
He's just trying to get this off the ground.
Okay.
I think he's trying to start a shoot too.
Okay.
But he wants to do this hunt. He's either an engineer or architect. I want to say he's an engineer, but he has a degree in one of those. But he's organizing this, and I really do want to go to that. I don't know if I'll be able to. It's in October.
Gotcha.
But it's also for deer.
Yeah.
Deer and hog, and you go, and there's like a lot of swamps. So there could be some big stuff down there.
Oh yeah, there could definitely be big stuff down there. There's gators down there. There's a lot of pigs in Louisiana. I know that much. My dad lived in Arkansas, and his neighbor would go hunt wild hogs in Louisiana all the time. Even though we got them in Arkansas.
Yeah, they got the razorback hog.
Yep.
In Arkansas, but there's not as many of them as you think.
No.
I lived in Arkansas for a year.
Where did you live at?
It's in Siloam Springs, northwest Arkansas.
Well, my dad lived in northeast Arkansas. He lived in Maine or like Jonesboro, Pocahontas area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jonesboro. I know where that is. Yeah, I lived there. I've seen one razorback pig. Actually, I only seen one pig the whole time I was there. But I never hunted or, I didn't do just a whole lot in the forest. I was apprenticing at a cabinet shop when I was like 20 years old. I lived in a camper trailer back in the woods.
Nice.
It was super creepy.
I don't know. Yeah, Arkansas is creepy. And that's a whole nother topic for another podcast.
Yeah. I loved it though. I had a great time. The first half of it was horrible. I couldn't find any friends, but the second half was.
My dad's passed away now. My aunt still lives down there, and I'm still good friends with the neighbors, and I can go hunt down there. Not on my family land, but on the neighbors' land around me. And that section of Arkansas, like he lived in Randolph County, it's a split zone for bear. Well, where my dad's property was, we couldn't hunt bear, but if we went down the road, they had a bear season. Which that was a little screwed up. And there was always bear there every fall and spring, but they never ran feeders. Like there was a co-op along, because all these people own land in my dad's area. Yeah. They never ran feeders and never had pigs in that part of Randolph County until a new guy came in and ran feeders 24/7, 365 days a year. I don't even know if that's legal, and now they got pigs down there.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know where Poachy Flats are. It's
no, I don't.
It's like right before you get into you have the Ozarks. You're coming down, and you go into the rice paddies. That's what they call them down there, where all the rice fields are. It's right above there. We were coming back from somewhere because my dad had cancer. Me and my stepbrother, we're down there hunting. We took him to his treatment down there, and we were coming back, and we had to come through Poachy Flats. And we look out. I thought there was a dang bear standing in the field. That was the biggest wild pig I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yeah, and
when they get that big, they can rip you right open.
Yeah, and it was. And my dad goes, "Are you seeing that?" I said, "Yeah." I'm trying to get my phone up. My stepbrother's still driving. He had to go to the bathroom. He goes, "Oh, that was not a pig. You saw a bear or something." And I go, "It wasn't. It was a pig." I said, "Even my dad vouched for it was a pig." And I think I had to go 400, 500 pounds. But yeah.
Yeah, there's some beautiful places in Arkansas. The Devil's Den State Park.
I like the Buffalo River.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's real nice. And they had I'm trying to think if I can remember it. I think it's Middlebrook. The Middlebrook, you don't. I mean, you do fish, but Middlebrook has some big smallmouth in it, and it's called the Middlebrook River. And some places you can jump across it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and there's big smallmouth in there. And
talk about big. I'm getting into building the trout vending net.
What, you are?
Yeah.
I'm about to get one from you then.
Yeah, I've already made some. I mean, I've had good success with them, but I totally changed my form.
You did?
I'm redoing my form now. So now I took apart my other form, and so I can't even build them now because I'm building a new form out of the pieces.
So what is it? Obviously, there's 3-piece laminated nets, right? What type is it? Like a mesh net, or is it like a rubber net, or just
Oh, you can put any net.
Okay.
Net you want.
All right.
But there's different guys. I mean, most guys like the rubber coating one.
I like the rubber coated ones. I think I got
Yeah.
the next one too, but
Yeah. I mean, if you get the knotted nylon, that's when a hook gets in that, it's
you can't
hard
get
to
it out.
Yeah.
But
So
I'll definitely
I've done some of those.
I'll definitely get one of those nets from you.
Well, eventually they're gonna be on my website. But I just don't know when I'll have time because I'm always
You build bows, you build cabinets, you and your wife make ice cream and make pizza. You guys are pretty busy.
I also make boats, racing boats.
Like boats, like racing boats.
Yeah, like for water. Yeah. I make little. They're little. They're called mini maxes. You can get the plans for them online. They're a ton of fun. They're just plywood and fiberglass. But I'll have to send you when we get off the phone. I'll have to send you some pictures of the boats I made.
How big a motor do you put on them?
A 10 horse will get you going so fast you'll freak out. But you can put like a 15 or 20 on them if you want.
My good friend Max was like born like 50 years too late because he's like a greaser, so he restores old cars with me. Old motorcycles, old boats. Well, he picked up this thing. I think it was I almost saw it Sunfish, but I know that's not it. It was I think it was called pumpkin. It's two-piece fiberglass, probably like what you build from like the 60s or 50s. But this thing had like
mini maxes. They're old.
Had like a 35 horse outboard, and I get in that thing. He opens the thing up. I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, you can get them going really fast. But they're a lot of fun. But I took one of mine to a family reunion at a lake.
Yeah.
And one of my first cousins, he took it over a submerged log. It wasn't even that submerged. You could see it sticking out of the water. And he just went right over it at full speed. And my boat didn't fail. It sprung the bulkhead. But I had enough fiberglass on it. It didn't even leak.
Yeah.
But I got to repair it. But I was pretty happy with it because even after hitting that submerged log with the outboard, and my outboard was an old one, so it didn't pop up,
Yeah.
And so, I mean, straight up wheelie when you hit that thing. It stopped and folding the tracks. But it kind of split it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's still waterproof. I couldn't believe it. I just used cloth glass on that boat, and it's still good to go. I can put it in the lake today. I just renewed the registration on it.
That reminds me what happened last fall. I have a bunch of pastor friends, and one of my pastor friends has like a 1990 Chris Craft, and it's not like a fancy Chris Craft anything like that. It's like that's fiberglass. It looks like a Bayliner a little bit, and we're going down the river, and I guess somebody must have moved the buoy or he wasn't paying attention. Well, we're coming back to the launch. The river was low. Well, he hit the sand island, and I was up in the front of the boat because that's like the couch up front. There's an open bow. I went flying out of the boat.
Really?
So I swim in, and I.
Was it an outboard motor or inboard?
It was inboard.
Okay, that's good. Because if you do that with an outboard, you can build a head gasket. You plug up those. Plug up those inlet in where it's water cooled.
Yeah.
And then you'll overheat your motor. I did that to one of my motors.
He said I came out of that water like Rambo out of Rambo. He thought I was gonna freaking kill him. And I was late picking my wife up from work. He goes, "How are we gonna do this?" I said, "You're gonna jump off the boat. I'm gonna give you this paddle. You're gonna dig us out. I'm gonna get in the boat and try to rock us back and forth." And we finally got us out. He goes, "Are you mad at me?" I said, "No. I was saying to the left, and you went to the right. But yeah.
Maybe he's dyslexic.
That's what I asked him. I give him crap all the time. He's a ginger, and I have a shirt. We used to play our churches used to. He's a part of our sister church, and we all played softball against one another. And on my shirt I would say gingers have no souls. And he goes, and his whole family's gingers. His wife's a ginger, and I'm going to tell you, I thought this was a joke, but when he was going through his pastoral schooling, his one professor told him, he goes, if you're going to be plan to be a minister, you better hang out at the medical building and get with one of these nurses or these nice young ladies that are becoming a nurse or a doctor. His wife is a brain doctor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I go, now I know how you afford a Chris crap because it wasn't that much. It was only $2,300. I said, I give him crap all the time. He's a good guy, but
Yeah.
he has 3 boys, and they're all a handful. And he goes, so do you want to go out on the boat with me and my 3 boys, and we can bring Evie? I said, Brandon, I said, are you ready for this punishment we're going to get into? There's going to be punishment. He goes, oh, I already know. His one kid hates the boat. His other kid likes the boat. And the youngest one kicked his 2 other brothers off the boat last time we went out there. Good thing they can swim. But, yeah.
That's funny. I love boats. Absolutely. I grew up on, I had a modified bass boat that I welded a 2-inch round tubing tower on and put a stainless steel ball on the top of it.
So
I had a tower on a bass boat. Yeah. Oh, it's so fun.
We have a wakeboard park down the road from our house. Man, they put it in, but I'm not mad because it brings a different type of community to the poor side of town, and they go to all the restaurants, and it helps out the side of town. But man, that was my favorite fishing lake. No one ever fished there because it was supposed on the bad side of town, and I could catch 12-inch crappies all day long. But
oh yeah,
now they put the wakeboard, and I can still fish there, but you have ramps and the ramps give different structure in the lake now, which the lake never had before. But I can't ice fish it, and I can't take my canoe out there. But they have like a pulley system that they pull the wakeboards on.
Yep.
And it's pretty cool. I laugh. I go, this kid's gonna eat it, and he ate it pretty bad.
Yeah, there's one of those parks in Oklahoma here, not too far away.
But what was I gonna ask you? Because we're gonna have a part 2 to this too, because there's a lot of stuff we can go down a rabbit hole and talk about. And could you?
Oh, it's all good. We could just if you want to just ask what you've got left, we could do. Yeah, I got time.
Could you build a bow specifically to shoot wood arrows and get the same performance out of them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. This next one we're gonna look at. What on your bows? How many strings would you recommend on them?
Well, the lower count you go, the faster they get, but you have more issues with vibration,
Knocking,
loudness,
arrow knocks.
Yeah. So I used to sell 18 strand with all my bows.
Yeah.
For a number of years I did, and I actually didn't mind those at all. I did have some complaints though, and that was just that guys were struggling. You know how a lot of guys are using the micro knocks.
Yeah.
They were struggling knocking onto the string, so I switched to 12 strand, and that seemed to fix it. I do have 1 or 2 guys that their knock is too loose on the string, and so when they get my bows, they have to order a custom string from like TNT Strings or somewhere. Yeah. But 99 or 98% of my customers, these 12 strand seems to hit the spot, and it will accommodate almost every kind of knock.
I put a new my buddy Jeremy DeFundy that's where I got that River Rising bow from, and he ordered a custom string for it, and it finally came in. So I went over to his house and got it, and it's a thinner string.
Yeah. Is it River Rising or River Radiant?
It's River Rising. I don't know how to say it. It's that Tom guy.
I thought it was the River Raisin, like the.
Yeah, it's in Michigan. I don't know. I always say it wrong. I think it's Rising River Rising. It's Tom. I think it's made by Tom Moran.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Yeah.
His name's Tom. Yeah, like I said, I met him at conference. He's a super cool guy.
And you told me that he builds those bows out of out of his garage. And
oh yeah,
it's nice. He does great work. I can tell you, if I had to buy that bow brand new, I probably would never afforded it. The only reason why Jeremy helped me out with that bow is because I had a PMC bow, and it's getting weak.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I shot 2 hunting seasons with that bow, in 2 3D seasons, and I abused it for $83 bow, and I had you already know this. I had I call them box store bows, one of the big three, and it delaminated on me, and they wouldn't help me out, even though it was under warranty still.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that PMZ, for $83 or whatever, you can have a lot of fun with those bows.
Oh yeah, and I didn't care if I had to have to finish 6 more shoots. So I got 6 more shoots out of it. I could hunt with my recurves, so it was no big deal. Let's make this real quick. Let's touch on reworks or was it reworks or refinishing? What you do to all vintage bows?
I call it reworks, but
Rework.
reworks basically encapsulates everything from refinishing to repairs to reductions. I don't know why it all starts with R,
I don't
but
know.
it does. But yeah, basically that thing just completely blew out of control, out of proportion. I never expected it to.
You know why? You do good work. You do really, really good work.
Well, I appreciate that. There's a lot of other good bowyers that do good work on them too, but I don't know. I guess most bowyers don't take them, which I can understand that.
Yeah.
It's not a very good moneymaker, but I feel like it's what I can do, to give back to the archery community. But I'm not cheap.
Yeah.
I used to do it for real cheap, but I found out real quick that there's no way I could keep doing it if I was doing it for as cheap as I was doing it. But I basically, I started my YouTube channel. I started doing some of those reworks, and then I just got hundreds of them sent to me.
Like that.
And
my Shakespeare I need to send out to you because it's got a limb twist. Yeah, that's all what's the matter with it.
So what I decided to do is May and June are our slowest months. Actually, very bad sometimes. Where I'm selling new bows.
Yeah.
So I restructured it again this year. I keep restructuring every year, but that's just what you do when you run a business.
Yeah.
But I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to do reworks in May and June.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to take any time. I'm not going to take any at all the rest of the year, and I'll just open it up and then get enough that cover May and June, and then I'll be done. Except for I do offer an expedite service.
Okay.
Where I will take a rework of any type, but there's an extra $100 fee for it.
Okay.
So my regular reworks are, if it's not a Great Plains bow, it's $350.
Okay.
The expedite, if you want it expedite, it's $450, which I actually have quite a few guys that do that. That surprised me, but there's a lot of guys that want to shoot their favorite bow, and it's worth it to them. And I put my heart into it. I make it brand new if I.
Now, can someone send you a bow to see if it's actually possible for you to rework, or do they got to pay up front? And
no, I don't charge up front.
Okay.
No, I only charge after the work is done.
Gotcha.
So if I get a bow in and it's delaminated, it's so bad that it would cost $1,000 to fix it, I'll look at it, talk to the customer and send it back if it's just not feasible. But I will take them. I've got guys sending me expedited ones right now, and I just finished 2 of them. But, and the reason I do that is because it's so inefficient for me to do these reworks unless I do them all together.
Gotcha.
Even doing them all together, there's so much that goes into one of them. They're so unique and so different. And you might be reworking one and you find something that you need to fix. And you just don't want to let it out the door with that. And then it takes extra time. And they just end up taking a lot of time. So that's how I'm structuring it now. So May and June, and I'll probably open it up the first of the year.
Okay.
People to send them in, and then I'll kick them all out in May and June. Other than that.